Good morning, everybody. I'm Michelle Cadena Wilson. I'm currently a candidate for the chairmanship. Was a Darlene morning was Paul Fog in the morning. Was a gala how a Nancy hoops on the forehead who go. And I grew up on the banks of the Little Bighorn. We grew up there on my grandparents' acreage out there, their homestead. Then we moved to Hardin with my parents. And I've got 4 adult children. 3 of them are veterans. My oldest son was in the Marine Corps. My son Ty was in the Army. My daughter was in the Army as well. And then later I raised 2 children. I took and raised them. And one is 18 and the other is 13. So I have teenagers. But I'm blessed to have them in my life. And I've been a leader for about 23 years. I ran my own business for 17 years and traveled. I'm an international speaker, conference host. I'm a teacher. I taught in California for 4 years for theology for ministry purposes to ordain ministers. The last 8 years I've been here on the Crow Reservation. I'm currently a sitting criminal judge. I've been a judge for 3 years. Prior to that, I worked for the Oak Isle administration and I was an advocate in the Crow tribal courts. I've seen the struggles of the Crow Nation. I've seen the issues at hand that they face on a regular because of my current position and my job as an advocate. And I've had some college. I went to school for business law. I've worked in business for the last 20 years. And I continue to, I believe in sowing into people's lives, train and teach and equip others. And that's part of what I've done in my life. And so I see the concerns of the Crow people, and so I'm here, and those are the primary reasons that I've made a decision to run. When I made a decision to run as a judge for the Crow Nation, as an advocate, I saw the hardship of the people, and then I determined that I would run as a judge because I saw the abuse of power, I saw the injustice and that our people had to endure. And so I ran for a judge, and currently I'm a judge, and I strive to be fair in all of my decisions and balance it out. I believe that we all are Crow and we live together, we know each other. As leaders, we should hold that. That should be something that's prevalent in the lives of leadership. Thinking for one another, helping one another. And as a decision to become a judge, that was my heart, was that I wanted to see fairness, justice, honesty. And we went into this 3 years of in the judicial, and it was very rocky. As you know, we were in the newspapers 13 times, various newspapers. And that's my heart, is to hold leaders accountable. If we, the people, elect leadership, we need to hold them accountable, and we need to require of them to be transparent and to have a heart that's for the people. And right now we're not seeing that. And one of the things that I think that we need to see a change in is restructuring how we run government. Old politics are no more. We can no longer tolerate old politics. Old politicians, backroom deals, 80-hour clubs, that's no more. We've hurt our people long enough, and so we have to make that change. And it takes somebody that's going to be bold enough to address these issues. And so those are some of the reasons that I chose to run as a chairwoman, as a candidate, is to be a voice for the people and to bring about a change in government. And that means holding other leaders accountable. Hold them accountable. And if we turn a blind eye to leadership that's not going to lead, then we're in trouble. And so I believe across the board, in all 3 branches, we have to hold one another accountable. And if we don't do that, we're going to continue to have the problematic issues that we've faced And right now we're seeing it with the election in place. We're all Crow, and we know what the wind is saying, what people are saying in the wind. And so we have to be the voice. And one of the things that I've been saying in all of our rallies is that your vote is your power. Your vote is your voice. And that's what I want to say to the Crow people, is to get out and vote and let people know that you want a change and you want leadership that's going to lead the Crow people. I have a very good friend from Pasadena, California, and he's a consultant to the NFL and corporate America. And one of the things as a young leader he would tell me was that your responsibility as a leader is to manage and to give oversight. That doesn't mean you do all of the work, but you make sure all of the work gets done. That's what leadership is that we work together to make sure the work is done. And right now we have no oversight. BIA has failed us in their trust responsibilities. They have failed us to give oversight. Our leadership has failed to give oversight. If you have a responsibility and you've been in a position of leadership, you look back and reflect on what you've done for your people, for the Apsáalooke people. And we need to uphold the Constitution. When we're sworn in as leaders, we take an oath to be sworn into office to uphold the Constitution. And right now that doesn't seem to be a priority to our leaders. And that's what holds the rights and our sovereignty for the Apsáalooke people. And so those are priorities that we need to uphold, and we need to challenge our leaders to adhere to. Now there's some of the questions that were presented here today, and I guess I want to go over them. And before I do so, one of the main goals that I've discussed with other people is restructuring our government and how we've done things. Right now we are, as the Apsáalooke Nation, we're like ground zero. We are in such a dire situation that we have to scale back and look at how we're going to restart and restructure. And the first thing is we need a grants office. We need an contracts officer that is going to be tough, that is going to pursue and go after funding that's going to add to the tribe. And that's where we got to start. Get these programs back that we've lost. And we need a team, and we have something in place and in mind that we've been discussing, a team to come and do that very thing and address the debt. Debt doesn't go away if you turn a blind eye. We have to be responsible as leaders to manage. And I want to just put it out there to the Crow people. Look at your leadership. Look at their lives. You're going to be able to tell how you look at somebody's life, how they maintain their home, how they maintain their lives. Do they have debt? Look at how they address that. If they're not managing that well, they're not going to manage your nation well. If they already have a history of misappropriating money, if they've already had a history of doing these backroom shady deals, then guess what? They're probably going to continue. So you need to be the one to determine what kind of leadership you want. And we've got to put a stop to this. And the people are suffering as a result of it. And so I believe that's the first ground that we need to address is these grants office, a financial officer that can help us get back these programs and maintain the programs that we still are barely holding on to. And then let's look at some of the debt that we're facing. If a man can't manage $10, how are you going to expect him to manage $100? I mean, this isn't rocket scientists. When we elect our leadership, let's look at their lifestyle. Let's look at their history, and hold one another accountable. And so we're going to go over some of these questions here that were presented, and I think I addressed some of them, but again, the first thing that I want to talk about, that I did already touch base on is the state of the finances of the Crow tribe. And we need to really evaluate all of these programs. We need to address the debt. It doesn't go away, so we need to make that a priority to address the debt. Not only that, where are our finances bleeding? They're bleeding out somewhere. Where's the waste? Stop the waste and address that. And paying for things that we shouldn't be, and address that so that we can, and a part of that is the 80-hour club. That, I really am troubled and concerned by that. And so we need to stop that. Leaders that are going to be elected into office, no more 80-hour clubs. Put people to work. They need to have job placement. They need to be working. And those individuals that have 4 years of being on that 80-hour club, shame on you. Shame on you for robbing the Crow people. I'm going to put that out there. People might not like it. They may be upset, but that's what I'm going to say. And so the next thing is,
what are your thoughts on the Crow Tribal Constitution? Do you plan to adjust it to create balance of power between the 3 branches of the Crow government?
I think the reality is that we really need to reconsider making changes. We need some constitutional change because at the moment we don't have that balance. There's not a balance in power. We have 3 different governments, and right now we have seen the abuse of that, and a lot of leaders that are negligent and not fulfilling their responsibilities to uphold the Constitution. We've had individuals previously that make light of the Constitution, and that's what gives us our sovereignty. That's what gives us our power. And we see that with the questionable, I guess, decisions on appointing judges by the current chairman. And I believe that should have gone to an election. And so that there is that balance of power. There is that balance of power, and we have people that the people have elected so that there can be justice. And there's a gross imbalance currently. And so I believe that we should consider bringing that to the General Council and making a constitutional change. And that's where we're going to see the people take back their power. So let's address it. Let's make those changes because it's not working. If this system isn't working, we need to make those changes, and it's your vote and my vote that's going to make that change. So let's take it.
Okay. How do you plan to adjust the economic conditions of Crow people living?
It goes right back to the state of the tribe and how we're taking care of our finances, how we're addressing. This is a social, the drugs, the violence, the domestic violence, the crimes are all tied to social economic problems. And so in order for us to address that and make those changes, we're going to have to scale back again, look at retaining the programs that we have and getting back the programs that we've lost and pursue funding. Hire individuals in that grants office so that they actively pursue funding and grants that can help the Crow people. And we realize that after we lost the coal revenue, it has been debilitating to a tribe. However, there are other tribes that we can look at that don't have economic development, that don't have outside revenue, that do function with their federal programs. So we need to manage those well so that we can service the Crow people. And the result of our socioeconomic problems is the result of the financial situation of the tribe. It has hurt everyone, from the grandmother down to the grandchildren. And so
that would lead us into the next question about how you will address some of the issues that are concerning to the Crow people, the trash, housing, infrastructure, children, and elders.
I think that's going to take an intra-departmental working together. Other departments, other programs, where we have to strategize to get the funding to be able to revamp this crazy issue with the garbage. And we need to just actively, as parents, as grandparents, speak to our children about taking care of our home, taking care of our yard, taking care of our community. If we're not doing that, then we failed. And so that starts at home as well. But I believe it's going to take a joint effort to be able to resolve this situation because it's such an overwhelming situation. Right now the elders are concerned because of the fire, the garbage being burned in Crow Agency. And I have elders continuing to call me when they're burning them, and it's hazardous to them and it affects their health. And so I know that there's funding. Right now there's funding that's coming in, and if the second round of stimulus comes, there's going to be funding available and grants available. My daughter is a business owner, and she just obtained 3 grants for her business. And I believe that we need people that can go after them so that we can have the revenue needed to be able to maintain a healthy lifestyle, which means the garbage. And also the care of the tribe, people that don't have jobs. You know, we need programs that will be able to assist them in their heating in the winter. It's going to be winter. Do we have programs available to them? Do we have people that can assist them? Many of our people can't even fill out the paperwork that's necessary to be able to obtain the assistance that's needed. Do we have some place or someone that's available to help them? We need to be able to do that for them. And assure the elders that we're going to address those concerns. And the garbage is a main concern to them, and it affects everyone.
Okay, what are your thoughts on our natural resources, such as the coal, buffalo herd, water, and other resources?
I think we have failed as leaders to pursue economic development in this last 8 years. And so that has to be a priority in order for us to come out of the debilitating poverty that we have been in. When a tribe goes from generating $32 to $34 million a year revenue to $4 million, that is debilitating to any people. And so once we knew that was going to happen, and I was a voice when those meetings took place 4 years ago, I was a voice to not renegotiate those contracts, to wait, to hold Westmoreland, to hold their feet to the fire, make them pay what they promised to pay. And unfortunately, that was not the case. However, we've faced that loss in revenue, so let's actively pursue some economic development. We are rich in resources as a Crow people, and so we need leadership that's going to pursue that. We have currently we have the Upsalaga Express, so let's see what kind of revenue does that generate, and where does that money go? Who's holding leadership accountable to know where that money is going, and how is it benefiting the Crow people? And those kinds of things, we need information. We need to be made aware, and of course that's one of the priorities is pursuing other avenues of economic development, because we are resource-rich people.
Great. Do you have any closing comments?
I think I just want to just adjure the Crow people, urge the Crow people to vote wisely. Get out and vote. Get out and vote, and hold your leadership accountable. Right now, one of the things is when we go to communities is people are saying we don't even have rights to go vote. We don't have gas to go vote. We don't have a way to even go vote. That's how desperate the situation is. So let's try to help somebody get out and vote. Let's give somebody a ride. Let's make it available to them to be able to come and vote. And again, I'm going to tell you, your vote is your power. Your vote is your voice. So get out and vote. Hold leaders accountable. Aho maginawa dishpabe ichi. Thank you.